Hey guys, so today we are here with the final live action tier list. This is, of course, from the Bumblebee movie. Now, gotta make this quick. Another road trip I have to get ready for. So, we're at the scalper's price, pay whatever they're selling it for, higher price, pay $10, $20 above it. Get it if you can afford it. If you can afford it, get it. If you can't afford it, don't. You can wait. Pass. I don't really recommend getting this figure, but you can if you want to. Plastic hide victim, worst of the worst. There's one specific toy I think everyone knows is going to be in this category. So, starting off, RC. Pay a higher price for. She's really good. She's definitely one of the better RC toys we have on the market right now. She's one of the few that actually cleans up in the backpack area. There's one complaint I do have. It's just that I wish the hands did hide a little bit better. And another, I just wish the backpack tabbed in somewhere, but those are all pretty minor complaints, especially when you consider the size of the figure and how small it is, and considering that it does actually get the look of RC right. So, moving on. B127. I don't like this thing. This thing is so bad. It takes engineering notes from Off-Road Bumblebee here, but doesn't do anything to fix the new issues that arise with the different vehicle modes. So it takes the car, the entire roof of the car, and just folds it up onto his back. The legs don't tab in together. 50% of this figure is made of clear plastics, means it's gonna break after a while. Yeah, it's just not a good looking figure. The vehicle mode looks fine, but you can almost guarantee that no matter what, the vehicle mode of a figure is always going to look at least decent. So, moving on, Blitzwing. You're kind of forced to pay a higher price for him now. I don't like him as much as RC. The reason I don't like him as much as RC is just I don't read this as Blitzwing. This is easily read as RC. This is not easily read as Blitzwing. They went for the G1 designs in the Bumblebee movie, or G1 inspired designs, but for some reason, instead of making him purple and brown or purple and yellow like he was in the cartoon, they went with this white and red, which is why everyone was confused as to why Starscream or why he wasn't Starscream. But overall, a good figure. Definitely one of the better figures in the line. So, moving on, Brawn. I like Brawn. A lot of the newer Bumblebee Studio Series figures are going to go in the higher price section just because they are a lot better than the early Bumblebee movie figures, which I'll get to the early Bumblebee movie figures. I have a spiel ready to go about those guys. So, Brawn's is pretty good. He's not as good as RC just because of the giant gaping hole on the top of his vehicle mode, and he doesn't have as much articulation, but he's also like really small. Like he's borderline core class, or what you would consider scout class if you're old enough. So, good articulation for the size, good paint job, definitely readable as Brawn, even though he wasn't in the movie for all that long. But yeah, he's pretty good. I'll put him right there. Shatter. And here we go. This is the worst Studio Series figure in the entire line. No questions asked. All the other figures I put in the Plastic Addict section had some form of redeeming qualities. This one has one redeeming quality. It looks good in vehicle mode. Robot mode looks okay. The head's wrong, but that's because it's based on a piece of concept art, so I'm not going to hold that too much against them. What a lot of people don't realize is that the early Bumblebee movie figures like Shatter, Volkswagen Bumblebee, Helicopter Dropkick, even Optimus Prime here, they weren't based on any on-screen models. They were based on concept art. That's why Optimus Prime's legs are wrong. That's why Bumblebee here has the door wings when he didn't really have them in the movie. That's why she has a battle mask. That's why he is not accurate to anything we even remotely see in the movie. So, but yeah, no. Everything else about this figure, the paint quality, the plastic quality, the QC, everything about this figure is no articulation in the waist. Like, you get forward and back, that's it. Yeah, no, everything about this figure is awful. So, moving on. Cliff Jumper. is better than B127, but still a plastic activation because all the issues with this figure are still present here. I just like the head sculpt and the colors on this one better. I think that Cliff Jumper fits this mold better. It's still a terrible mold, so. Ironhide. This one's bit of a mixed bag. I've seen some that have like a ton of QC issues as far as like paint. Mine has very bad paint chipping straight out of, had very bad paint chipping straight out of the box on his shoulders. The red hips are a bit weird because they look really out of place because it's just red, gray, and then like a very small section of red again. But we finally got the yellow stripe. We finally got the yellow stripe that has caused so much controversy in the community. Who knew a yellow stripe could cause so much arguments? But yeah, other than that, he's pretty good. I do think Ratchet's overall a better figure, but he has his own issues. So, Jet Shatter. This is major improvement over the original. But I think this is the first Bumblebee movie Studio Series figure that is based on an actual screen model, like not concept art, but an actual on-screen model that they used, and you could definitely tell because it is a lot better than this one. The head sculpt's much better, the articulation is much better, the backpack's a lot better. This is overall a much better figure. Off-Road Bumblebee. This is one of my favorites. I have the Nest version. I had the original, but unfortunately it got chewed up by my girlfriend's dog, so the Nest version, I think, it's the same figure. It's just gray and with green clear plastic for the windows and stuff like that instead of the just clear. But this guy cleans up so nice. Looks really good. It's same basic engineering as this guy, but this guy does it so much better, so much cleaner. You can attribute that to the fact that it's a smaller vehicle mode and it doesn't have a roof. But the legs look so much nicer. Everything holds together so much nicer. Plus, we don't have to worry about the battle mask feature on this guy because he never used it in this. Well, he did use it in this mode. Sorry, but like I hate when they just default to the battle mask for Bumblebee. So, but yeah, definitely worth the scalper's price. I wouldn't go too insane with it. Like I wouldn't pay $200 for this guy, but if someone's selling him for $70, I'd try and pick him up. Optimus Prime. This is the best Optimus Prime in the Studio Series line. Now, don't get me wrong, it has its problems, specifically in the legs. Mine, I don't know if it's my copy, but if it's just my copy or if it's widespread, but the legs don't like to tab together all that well in robot mode. And unfortunately, the guy I bought this from lost his ion cannon, which I was really upset about. But great paint job, great sculpt, definitely better than the other Optimus Primes in the line. So, not much else I can really say about that. Premium finish version I haven't seen too much of. It might be better than this guy, but then you'd be paying $50 for just a paint job. So, Ratchets. I do think Ratchet overall is better than Ironhide, but it's like hairline, like just by a little bit. There's no inconsistent colorings. The only real issue that I think has since been fixed is the yellowing of the plastic. That's really the only issue, and mine hasn't started yellowing yet, so I'm lucky there. But yeah, I just think, overall he looks better than Ironhide does, but they're both really great. Ravage. This was made. Okay, so get it if you can afford it. It's still on the shelves in some places, but you can definitely tell this was made specifically just because Soundwave was made, which isn't a bad idea. Anytime a Soundwave comes out, everyone's like, oh, when are we getting the cassettes? Or, in this case, the bricks. But yeah, he's pretty good. Definitely better than the Revenge of the Fallen Ravage, because that was pretty bad. Core Class Shockwave, you just pass on that guy. I hope that isn't the actual Shockwave they go for. I hope they do release a Voyager class version. Soundwave. Sorry, should have drank some water before this, but Soundwave. Yeah, about right there. His vehicle mode's not the most inspiring thing, but It's a hovercraft, people. It's a hovercraft. Let's accept the fact that not every sound wave is going to be a cassette and not every sound wave is going to be an SUV. He's a hovercraft. You can either accept that and learn to like it, or you can just not get the figure. So, sorry, a bit of a rant there. Definitely better than the other two sound waves from the line. Those figures are good for what they are, but they don't read as sound wave in the slightest. This guy reads clearly as sound wave. So, um, yeah, you can tell a lot of the figures are going to go in the higher price section. But yeah, good paint job, great mold, good overall. Starscream. I think Starscream's better than Blitzwing just because it's more easily readable as a character, and also, um, well, hang on a second. No, because I hear there's some QC issues that do um, plague this character, specifically in the wings. Another thing I don't like is the weapon. I think it's here on Blitzwing too, but the weapon doesn't sit right in his hand. If you have it sitting on top, it points downward at a slope, but if you fold his hand up and try and put it on the bottom, the peg that it holds on to isn't long enough. So, sorry. He's either got a weapon that's constantly falling off of his hand or is pointed downward. So, I don't like that, but overall, it's a really good figure. I love this mold. And Thrust is even better than both of them. Thrust is definitely... I think they took the QC issues of Starscream and fixed them on this guy, but he still has the same weapon issues. This guy is limited in head articulation just because they did make him... did give him the cone head appearance, but still pretty good. Thundercracker is the best of the entire Seekers so far. If they come out with Skywarp, that will be my favorite because that color combination is my favorite. But yeah, takes the best of all of these and fixes them. Definitely the best of the group. Here's the big one, Volkswagen Bumblebee. Now, a lot of people are going to expect me to put it in either Pass or Plastic Addict, but the reason I'm putting it in Get It If You Can Afford It is because, again, based on concept art, so we can't use the screen model as a reference. So, but he has basically all the same issues as all the other Bumblebees, from all the other like mainline Bumblebees, like the Camaro Bumblebees in the line. Same clear plastic issues. He's definitely a lot smaller, and his legs don't always like to tap together, and they do this stupid thing where you have to pull his arm off to put his weapon on. But other than that, it's still pretty good figure, good articulation, everything like that. Vehicle mode looks really good too. Helicopter Dropkick. I'm going to put him below Soundwave. You get him if you really want him. I have him. I don't think he's as bad as everyone else is making him out to be because, once again, concept art. But the thing is, I can at least read this Shockwave as the Shockwave from the Bumblebee movie. This isn't based on anything in the movie, which you can't blame them. But, like, I don't even think there's concept art for this specific thing out there. And it's not like they couldn't make it at least readable as the character, but the fact that they made him mostly gray instead of mostly blue like he was in the movie is a bit weird. Plus he's just ugly. This mold is not the best. It looks much better on Drift because they were able to edit the mold in a way that actually makes it look better instead of, doing what they did with the off-road Bumblebee and B127. But yeah, he's alright. You can pass on him, but he's not terrible like everyone else makes him out to be. And finally, because I have to hurry up, because I have to leave in like 20 minutes, Car Dropkick. I would say he's about there. I haven't heard of any QC issues. I know he's very hard to find. Like, anytime you search up Dropkick online, you'll find pictures of this guy, but this is the one that you'll find actually being sold. Not a lot of people are selling this guy, and if they are, they're selling him for outrageous prices. Like, I think I saw one for $90, and it sold, like, as soon as it was posted, and I'm like, that's insane for me. I wouldn't buy it for anything more than $50. I think that's pretty reasonable. That's a $30 increase from what his MSRP is. Yeah, I haven't heard any issues with this guy. If there are issues, comment down below and I'll edit him in the comments. Be like, oh, his arms are prone to degrading and breaking off and not being able to go back on. Well, in that case, then he'll go down to the bottom of higher price. He might even go in to get it if you can afford it. But as is right now, he's definitely going right here, right between Thundercracker and Thrust. So, let's look. Am I being too generous? Too generous? Am I being too harsh? I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. So, that's my list. Let me know what you think about it. Like, comment, dislike, send me hate comments. I don't really care at this point. So I'm going to end it there. I'll see you guys some other time. Guys, I need your help. Okay, so the algorithm is the #1 enemy of all YouTube channels. Any YouTube channel that's trying to start up or isn't pre-established is going to fail because of the algorithm. So what I need you to do, I need you to do 2 things. 1, I need you to hit like. 2, I need you to subscribe. If you don't do either of those things, this channel is not going to be able to stay afloat for very long. So please, like, subscribe, and if you really like me, you might leave a comment while you're at it. Thank you very much.